Grand Rising, Mi5, my people, my family, my tribe. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are so amped tonight because we are back for another amazing episode of the Mi5 show. It is absolutely awesome to be here tonight. We have been so blessed to be doing this show at the start of the new year, and we've had so many amazing guests, and we definitely have another amazing guest lined up for you guys tonight. I am very excited to introduce our guest in just a second, but wait, before I do, I have a couple of announcements I want to just get off my chest to you fellow Mi5ers that love to join us here every week. Number one, Mi5 is turning 1 year old. That's right. 1 year old. It's hard to believe that we've accomplished so much and we've had so much great success and we've had so many great impacts on so many individuals, and it hasn't even been a year yet. But April 15th, Mi5 is going to be turning 1 year old, and we are inviting everybody to come and join us and celebrate us for a live stream that's going to be going on for 24 hours. Secondly, I would love for you all to know that Mi5 is looking to grow our community this year. And I want you guys to remember that Mi5, although it's a free community right now, it's not going to be free later on this year. So while you can, invite your family, your friends, your relatives, your coworkers, only if they're ready to be in the right mindset, because that's so important. Only if they're ready to make the leap, make the change to create a better life for themselves, which is what we showcase and highlight. And if anybody wants to join the Mi5 movement, you can by following us right down here on this Telegram link right here. Speaking of changing your life, speaking of becoming the best versions of yourself, speaking of, doing amazing things, our guest tonight, Mr. Daniel Kessler, is an amazing individual. He goes by a flow coach. That's right. Have you ever heard that before? A flow coach? Nope. Because he actually helps individuals achieve a flow state. We're super excited to have him. Daniel was down at the Growth Con in Las Vegas, Grant Cardone's conference, where Andrew and I both attended in February. And I don't really remember interacting with Daniel. It may have been just Andrew interacting with him, but I've had the chance to interact with Daniel over the course of the day today as we got ready for the show, and we are very excited to have him on. Eric is going to do the honors of interviewing Mr. Daniel Kessler here in the first half of the Mi5 show tonight. I know, Eric Melissa in the house. We don't get to see him too often, but Andrew Golden is off in Disney World with the family, and tonight Eric's going to be stepping in as our first host. So I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Eric Melissa and Daniel Kessler, and then I will see you guys after the half.
All right, great. You guys are stuck with me. Hey, it's nice to meet you, Daniel Kessler. I'm really excited to learn more about what you do. I know that when I'm in the state of flow, I'm happy, I'm free of fear, I'm free of anxiety. I'm just flowing along and just living life. So what I'd like to do here is ask you some questions and find more about this. Hold on one second. So how did you first become interested in success coaching in the concept of flow?
Yeah, so as far as success coaching goes and life coaching, I look up to Tony Robbins a lot. And I watched I Am Not Your Guru, and I cried like 8 times. It was such a beautiful many points where it just hit me very emotionally. And then I've studied other life coaches. And one of my favorite life coaches is Frederick Dotson, who wrote the book, The Flow State, which is sort of where I get a lot of ideas from, is from The Flow State by Frederick Dotson. It's a phenomenal book. And I remember anticipating this book. I was just so excited for it. And then when I finally got it, I was just like a kid in a candy shop.
That's great. I'm actually going to have to get that name of that book. I've never heard of it. It's called The Flow State.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to have to check that book out. So what personal experiences led you to believe in the importance of achieving flow for success?
Personally, the flow state's not very important, because talking about the flow state is actually just like talking about life. Mm-hmm. Why it interests me, though, is in achieving things, you shouldn't have to like struggle too hard. Like being overworked is almost a plague. And so the flow state offers this release from being overworked, this release from feeling as though you have to. And like the thing with the flow state is it puts you into a place where your joy and your interests are like directly routed to what you have to do in order to accomplish what you want to do. The flow state is effortless high performance. Now that would interest anybody. Effortless high performance, but it's a bit of an illusion. It's more of an experience. It's not concrete. The flow state, what is that? I don't even know. And I'm a flow coach.
Okay. I've never heard of a flow coach before. So what led you to becoming a flow coach?
Yeah. So what led me was realizing that the value of understanding where you're at within the energy you feel now and then what you do, right? I'm very interested in topics like Zen Buddhism, because, the movement, very slow and just very practiced,
Mhm.
and being process oriented and forgetting about the goal. Forget about the goal. Let's set goals. Forget about the goal. Do something now here. It's action that's effortless and you enjoy it and it gets you to where you want to go.
So being present in the moment.
It's about presence. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So what brought you there? What things that happened in your life that brought you to where you're at? I mean, like I would say the things that the critical points in your life that you can reflect on.
Yeah. So everyone's had pain, but this is just some of my pain. Growing up, I was incredibly anxious and I had a lot of social anxiety, a lot of discomfort
Mhm.
around people. I would worry about what people thought of me all the time. I would worry about how I'm coming across. And this led to a lot of isolation and depression and a lot of pain and grief. And I just was discontent with life. And so I escaped by going to video games. I would play video games endlessly. And it was like, that's all I did. Well, about 2.5 years ago, I quit video games permanently. And I don't intend to go back to them unless, one of my um, no, I don't think I'll ever go back to video games. I'm making that decision now. They're just not worth it, man. I mean, I like
Mhm.
pinball, but like video games, they're a fake world. So I was
Mhm.
interested in getting, in today's terms, getting out of the flow of the video games and into the flow of life and the energy of life. And so the flow state has been something I'm well familiar with because I played video games for so many years.
Mhm.
But that's not a flow state in life. So the life flow state then of me now almost having to learn how to walk. It's like I was walking in a video game for my entire life. And then now learning how to walk in real life of the flow state here now and how it can be applied to make our lives better now is what interests me obsessively. I'm relentless in my pursuit of teaching this. And so, yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes. So okay, so I understand, and coming from someone, I understand about anxiety. I mean, I definitely wrestle with it even now. Is something that I deal with. So the being in the flow state really has helped me, especially when I'm creating and doing something. Really, makes me feel the most alive, right? So one of the things are, what are some of the common misconceptions people have about flow in success coaching?
So, as far as the flow state goes, it's misconceived by trying to pinpoint it, trying to go, okay, this amount of chemicals in your brain is required for a flow state. Like, it's not scientific. It's so esoteric. I almost feel like a fool talking about it because it's more experiential. It's about like being, like you talked about, being so immersed in something that you forget about everything else. One thing that, yeah,
it would be like another state of mind.
it's an altered state of mind. Yeah, it's aligning your attention and awareness
Mhm.
in a way that's most effective. So really, one of my favorite parts of one of my favorite flow exercises, and it's just to try and like get you more oriented towards experiencing the flow state, because we could talk about it all day, but the best way to do it is to actually experience it. And
Mhm.
so what I like to do actually, and this will grow your attention span. People's attention span is so dwindled these days. This will help grow your attention span so that you no longer are scatterbrained and you can't, anyway, getting away from scatterbrain,
Mhm.
watching the clock. I'll set a stopwatch on my phone and I'll just watch the stopwatch tick for a minute or 2 minutes and just sit there and relax. Totally relax, not move a muscle, and just watch the time go. This is accessing and getting into the flow state. This will put you into a soft focus that is so useful towards getting into that deep work, towards focusing on what's, your work or even just your joy in what you're doing. And so whatever you are seeking, it's best to do it in a way that's softly focused. It's not lazy, it's soft alert. It's like softly alert.
Softly alert. Okay. With intention. Because
And then from there you set intentions, and the
Mhm.
intentions that you set are easily done. There's this concept of energy, and there's like these levels of energy, this idea. And then the higher your energy is, the more you're like vibing, or the higher energy you are, the easier it is for your intentions to become true immediately.
Mhm.
But that's like a whole nother.
Interesting. Okay. Um, so can you share a success story where you helped somebody achieve this flow, which had a significant impact on their life or something they were trying to accomplish?
Yeah, man. So I'm more of a life coach. The flow state is just sort of this marketing ploy of what the carrot is that I'm dangling in front of your face. But really, the goal that I have is just teaching people how to live life with more joy, more enthusiasm, to live life in a way where they're deciding to be happy rather than just falling to sadness and these lower states that can be um, painfully dreadful. So as far as life coaching goes, um, I love helping people. uh,
Mhm.
One of my favorite clients right now, um, it's such a game when I coach him. It's so fun to talk with him, and he's this young man, um, and I'll ask him these questions that just get him to stump and think. Go, oh, I never thought of that. That's a perspective I never thought of, and it gets him to think. And I'm like teaching him how to think more clearly and think about the things that he wants to get to. And as far as success coaching goes, my entire goal is to no longer be needed. Like I want to teach you how to be your own coach.
Mhm.
I don't want you as a client longer than a few months. Like as much as my bank wants that, like money wise, I want to teach you how to be your own coach so that you don't need me. I want my coaching paradigm is, and it's not marketable to do this. So I don't, market that. But the idea is to set myself up to be redundant of like, I'm going to teach you how to do this yourself so you don't need me anymore.
So you're giving them the tools.
It's tools. Yeah, it's tools. And then it's a muscle. It's an
Mhm.
ability to see clarity. That's coaching. Coaching is just somebody else helping you reach clarity in your life.
So how do you measure the effectiveness of your coaching and the progress your clients make in achieving that flow to whatever outcome or utilizing it in their life?
So I can only care about somebody's success as much as they do. And how you measure that is you can measure that in concrete results, which are great. You know, results are awesome. I like getting results too. But part of teaching is leading people to the threshold of their own mind.
Okay. So, all right, in your experience, what challenges do people face in maintaining a flow state and how can they overcome them?
So tension is something that prevents people from entering into flow states. Being overly tense or wanting to control things too much. So then learning to release and let go and just to relax totally and just take it all in. This is the power of the flow state, of understanding that things are occurring as they are. And I don't necessarily need to try and control and manipulate everything and everyone.
Okay. So I would imagine that, especially in the time that we live in, it's so fast paced, getting people to slow down is probably one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, so the challenge of slowing down is really just wanting to take your health into account. I mean, I spent so much time in anxiety and worrying about the future. And there's so many things that you could worry about and be fearful over. But learning
Mhm.
to kind of take a break and slow down is just so relieving, man. I mean, you're really gonna go through your life sprinting the marathon? Why would you wanna sprint the marathon? Learn to pace yourself. People need to learn to pace themselves. And in today's culture and society, it's, "I want it now. I gotta have it now. I want it now. I want it now." And I follow this too, man. I follow this too. But learning to slow things down and have some patience and really the flow state can be encapsulated with this idea. Walking through nature and looking around and seeing the trees and seeing the light and the grass, and you look around and you find a flower, and just observing that flower and realizing that you're not going to make the flower grow any faster by tugging on it.
That's true. So you observe it and you let it be in its own time, right?
Timelessness. Time is a construct that we've made up. Time doesn't really
Mhm.
exist. The future, one way to get over procrastination is recognize that there is no future. There's only right now. And so realizing that things just grow on their own accord and life grows.
So you mentioned procrastination. How do you utilize as a success coach or a flow coach to overcome procrastination? Because so many people suffer from that.
Yeah, so procrastination is really a cope. So in this life, we're either thriving or coping. Procrastination is thinking that you can put it off into the future and it'll be okay. You know, oh, I'll just do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And later never comes. There's only the only thing you'll ever have, ever, is here and now. Not even your material possessions will you have. All you have is here and now. And so if you don't have the materials with you to do the work that you're procrastinating, do the
Mhm.
work in your mind. What does it feel like to do that thing you're procrastinating in your mind? What does it feel like to finally have that done? What does it look like to do that? Can you see yourself doing that? Do it now. Don't wait. Whatever you're
Mhm.
procrastinating, even if it, like, let's say it's manifesting your ideal partner. Well, there's no one around me to be my ideal partner, so I can't have that. No, create that up here first. Feel what it feels like to have that now, and then embody that feeling and feel that, and then go
Mhm.
back there again and again if you want. But then releasing it is then getting into becoming aligned with that reality and then experiencing that. The idea is to experience it now.
So you're experiencing whatever you want to accomplish now. Is that what you're saying? Like whatever you're trying to accomplish. Like let's say you want to write. You're a writer. So you would imagine that you're sitting down and you're because so many people writers when they're staring at a blank page, that's like the scariest thing to them.
Yeah, I would say close your eyes and imagine you're typing through the, like, 12th chapter of the best novel you've ever written, and then open your eyes and then start typing, you know? I mean, as far as creativity goes, just start. Just start. And some artists, some singers will record the first few things that come out of their mouth and include that in the song, and they'll just use that, and they won't they won't wait for the idea to hit them. They start walking.
Hmm. So so how does one environment or workspace impact their ability to enter and maintain a flow state?
So it's helpful to keep things clean. There's this idea of being your own butler, of almost embodying a new personality or identity, of
Hmm.
becoming your own butler and treating yourself very well. You know, you can be your own butler. You know, your clothes are laid out the night before. Your coffee is ready to go in the morning. You are your own butler. You can do this because you deserve that. You deserve that. But as far as workspace goes, it helps to keep things clean. If it's too cluttered, that can be a representation of a cluttered mind. So, and as one of my favorite psychologists, Jordan Peterson, always says,
Hmm.
clean your room. The external circumstances can be a reflection of your internal circumstances. And it may help to start out there. Some people don't want to be warriors and go within. They can start out there. And that's a great place to start, is out there. But it's also great to go within.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, for me, like cooking is very cathartic, right? I mean, it's a task; it needs to be done. You need to know cook for your family, and I find that when I cook, I go into this like flow state. So how can individuals balance the pursuit of flow with the need for rest and recovery to prevent burnout?
I like to look at my human body as it's almost like a car, right? You've got the gas, you can sprint, you can run fast, you can take a lot of action, you can do stuff. And then there's the brakes of just stopping. And the practice of meditation really is just stopping and looking deeply.
So
And
are
so
there?
this car analogy, you
Mhm.
can be pressing on the gas, taking a lot of action, doing a lot of work. You could be coasting and just letting the momentum that you have carry you wherever it's going to carry you, and just you're in momentum and you're going. Or you can hit the brakes and stop the car or slow down or totally complete come to a complete stop and look deeply.
Okay. Uh, again, I think in our fast-paced environment, doing that, we have like 10-second attention spans. So something like this is there's a need for this. There's definitely a space. So you should have no lack of clients that are needing something like this. So what is there any books or resources or thought leaders in the field of flow that you would recommend for people interested in learning more?
Yeah, if you resonate with this idea, study Zen. Zen's really cool, Zen Buddhism. I would just be talking about Zen the whole time, but I'm not a Zen Buddhist monk.
Mm-hmm.
But look up Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Vietnamese monk. He actually died this past year. Rest in peace. He went by Thai, which means teacher. But Thich Nhat Hanh, he's written many books on. I really like his how-to series. He's got a how-to series that's just it's so delectable. It's very nutritious. How to sit, how to walk, how to eat, how to connect, how to love, and how to see, how to fight. He's got this little series. There are these little books, and they're really beautiful and plainly explaining what Zen is. And
Mm-hmm.
Zen is very, very much in the flow.
Great. Well, I hope the audience has taken some notes here. And so, where are you currently? We're coming up to the middle of the hour here. So, if you just want to kind of quickly, or actually, we could wait. We could actually wait and talk about that when we come back from the break here, because we're already, in the middle here. So, Brian, if you want to cut for the commercial break.
Alrighty, guys, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then I'll hop on with Mr. Daniel. Here we go.
At Grand Rising Financial, we can help brand new or existing businesses secure funding through various funding solutions. Our primary means of funding is 0% interest credit stacking, where we can secure $50,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest for 6 to 24 months. We also offer personal and business term loans as well as 0% interest personal credit stacks. We are so confident in our work that we are a performance-based company, and we only charge on the back end after we have secured your funding. It is no secret that in 2023, the state of the current economy is looking rough, but we are here to help. Whether you are trying to create a better life for you and your family, or simply trying to grow and scale your business, at Grand Rising Financial, we not only help you obtain funding, but we consider ourselves leaders in financial education so that we can equip you with the tools to build a life that you can be proud of. We help entrepreneurs, business owners, and visionaries with a handful of funding and credit building services. For more information and to book a free consultation, please reach out to us at grandrisingfinancial.com or send us a message on Facebook at Grand Rising Financial to learn more and speak with a member of our team. Let Grand Rising Financial help you fund your dreams.
Alrighty, we are back. What a first half that was. Daniel Kessler in the house. Mr. Eric Melissa doing such a great job asking so many awesome questions. And I don't know if you guys just saw that commercial, but that was stellar. For those that don't know, Grand Rising Financial is our company, our sister company here at Mi5. And we just made that commercial and launched it and debuted it last week. And it looks so much better this week. Made a couple edits thanks to some feedback and advice from our community. Also, we'll be featuring additional commercials. So if anybody knows in the future, we'll be releasing some spots as this show kind of ramps up and takes off. But Daniel, welcome back, man. It was so nice to hear, your story.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think that, you provided a lot of context into, this flow coach, because no one's heard of it, right? What's a flow coach? No one's, Google. But the idea of flow, and this idea of being in flow to be able to access a version of yourself that is optimal for existence is just such a, it's an interesting approach to, to coaching as opposed to some other states, that people may try to get you into. Can you tell us a little bit about, why you chose, or just what's different about flow as a coach as opposed to, well, you said you're a life coach, which then creates flow, but what is the different, approach that you take as opposed to some of your competitors?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Wow. So I guess that kind of leads to where I'm at now, which I'm studying my competitors. I'm learning from my competitors. I don't believe in competition, actually. I don't believe in competition. I'll tell you that. I believe in collaboration. If somebody's winning, I just look at them and I go, "Oh, that's awesome! They're winning." I get inspired. I don't get down about it. I'm not
Well,
like,
then I guess let me rephrase it then, because I'm totally in agreement, right?
Okay,
Like there's more abundance for everybody than we could all ever imagine. We are absolutely
dude,
founded in abundance. But no, I guess what are some of the things that you've observed that you're doing differently than some of your fellow coaches in the industry that are great, amazing people accessing abundance as we all are?
Yeah, cool, man. I'm sort of coming into my own as a coach, and I'm in this process, and I'm a rather new coach. I've been uh, learning life coaching for about a year. I've been coaching for like 6 months, and so I'm learning who I am as a coach. And the biggest thing you can do is grow yourself. As a coach, the most important thing is to grow you. Because if we're on this airplane that's going down, we're all going to die. I have to put on my gas mask first
Absolutely.
before I can help somebody put on theirs. So for me, it's just getting through things and learning and experiencing. And how I'm being different than other coaches. I think every coach is different than any other coach. How I stand out? Good question.
I may have stumped you. No, but no, I mean, I guess you could say in your journey to authenticity, right? There's got to be something where you're like, I see either I guess, a need for this, whether it was a need that was once yours that you've kind of like, grown into that flow state and then wish to pass that need on, or have that solution for your clients, or whether it's a, passion for just being able to give this gift to others. I feel like that's just what makes every coach authentic, right? What is the motivation behind it? Now you must have had some motivation. Who, if any, has played an influence? Have you had any mentors, any people that have sort of given you the tools or the mindset to be moving into this direction that you're moving into?
Yeah, absolutely. I have two mentors, and they're they've really helped me sort of orient myself and understand deeper why I'm here and how I can help. And I think mission and purpose is something that is helpful to define. And um, yeah, um, man, yeah. And then I'm inspired constantly by other people who, are doing what I want to do, or in the direction of what I want to do. And, when I feel down and out, I just kind of turn to them, and I'm reminded of, what it's about. I'm reminded that I don't need to be hopeless. I'm
Mm,
reminded that, dude, if that person can do it, I can do it.
absolutely.
And yeah, and I don't believe in self-made men. I mean, I get it, you worked hard, but come on, you didn't have people you looked up to. You didn't have people that gave you the right advice at the right time. I mean, we can't do this alone, man. And if you try and do it alone, like you're that lone wolf, that's a journey, man. That's a journey. And I'm all about effortlessness and ease. And I like that stuff. That just interests me. How can I get it easily? How can I get it effortlessly? And so learning the flow state and studying it and living it is about getting what you want very easily. But you know what? Can you handle that?
Mm. Who knows, right? I mean, now here's the thing, right? With technology, the way that it is right now, would you say that the advancements in technology have made it easier for individuals to accomplish the flow state? What types of new things within the world of technology are you using, if any, or that you found helpful in your journey?
Yeah, so the flow state is actually where people get a lot of their dopamine. So when you're scrolling or even watching a video or watching this, you're seeking that flow state. People just don't know where to look for it. And they don't know how to instill that and have that in their life in what they're doing now. So learning to take the instant constant reward that scrolling can be and apply it to the work you have to do is sort of the art of living in the flow and the art of rewiring your brain and nervous system. I'm no doctor, but literally rewiring your mind and your body and your physiological response to that which you want to accomplish. It's like people say, follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. Oh, well, what's my bliss? Your bliss can be anything you want. Bliss is an energy and a feeling and an emotion. And your bliss can then be mapped to exactly what you want. And this goes into my other practice and study of laughter yoga. Laughter yoga is such a life hack. And I will always talk about laughter yoga because it's so cool. People want to be happy, but people constantly make excuses and they constantly complain, right? This happens. And what it is it's just not being solution oriented. If they were more solution oriented, you've experienced it, somebody's complaining to you and you're just like, oh man, you just got to do this. You just got to do X, Y, and Z. And then they go, no, but that sucks. And they just continue down the complaining rabbit hole. It's because they don't want a solution. They are literally addicted to the emotion of complaining. And so learning to rewire your bliss to whatever you want is where laughter yoga comes in handy. So you asked me what sort of practices I do, and really the flow state by Frederick Dotson, which I've taken it and kind of ripped it apart and I study it deeply. It inspires a lot of other exercises and things that I do. So where I apply a lot of my flow state and understanding to is in music. And I love music so much. And so one of the practices in music is learning to appreciate and enjoy fully every sound that you can make on your instrument. So for me, I like the piano. So what I'll do is I'll take some time and I'll sit down and I'll just relax. And I'll feel myself let go. And then I'll play one note. And I'll really just sit there and hear that note for maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And then I'll go to the next note. And this is creating the appreciation for what you're about to play and make beauty with, and how it applies to music. And another thing I'll do is I'll play one note and then I'll laugh. And laughter yoga is the art of sitting there and laughing for no reason. So, it's like this is the cold motor laugh. Okay, I'm starting a cold motor. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. So I can laugh whenever I want. I can spark my joy whenever I want because of laughter yoga. It becomes this muscle. I got these biceps. That's the joy. And it becomes a muscle in your brain from learning to laugh. So I will reroute my joy to music by sitting down and playing that one note and then laughing to it.
Interesting. Yeah, this is good stuff. And I think it really just points to a lot of the, the laws of the universe, right? Of like feelings are so important in the process. How do you feel? Because you're in control of how you feel. You were talking earlier about, being present, being here now, and you're in control of what emotions you want to feel during that moment. And you're right. I mean, I bet you could probably go to anybody on the planet and be like, hey, I'll give you $20 if you laugh right now, and they'll probably laugh, but people don't recognize that they can do
Great
that.
idea. I might
And
do that. That's great.
and actually, the people don't realize they can do that in a time which may present challenging, just to completely, like, if you're having a difficult, bad day and you're vibrating negative, you're vibrating in a bad mood, and then all of a sudden, you just change it up by putting on some music that you love, and it gets you out of the rut, whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's truly powerful stuff, man. So I'm curious, Daniel, if you were going to be any part on a bicycle, which part would you be and why?
Ooh, yeah. I want to say the wheel, but if I'm the wheel, I'm constantly in motion, which can be great, but I like to stop. I would say I'm the handlebar.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people can ride their bikes with no handlebars.
Yeah. So how does the handlebar represent yourself?
Well, like I said, my coaching is set up to make me redundant. I want to create a coach in you that can lead you and your own inner teacher. So some people can ride their bikes without any handlebars, but they're better at riding the bike. Some people need to grab a handlebar so that they can have a little bit more stability. But the people without the handlebar, they're acting in total abandon. They know what they're doing. They don't need me. If you know what you're doing, okay.
What a beautiful representation, right? It's like when you start to ride a bike, sometimes you definitely need the handlebars. Most of the time you're there, but after a while, when you become a professional, you let go. And like you said, your students are not meant, or your whatever you wish to call them, are not meant to stay there forever. Your clients, students, community. Now, let's say tomorrow, $1 million is dropped into your bank account. What are you going to do?
I would probably first stop and breathe. I'm deciding what I would do. I'd stop and breathe. I'd probably just do some sitting. I would look at it again, put it down. I'd go, yes. And probably call my mom and be like, hey, mom, what kind of car you want? Treat somebody. And then figure out what to do with money because, I don't really know.
What do you think your biggest passion is in your life?
Ooh, my biggest passion. I think my biggest passion is for life, right? The gates to death and destruction are wide, but the path to life is very narrow. So learning to live life and be alive is probably what I'm passionate about. So that means like learning to not chase after death and destruction. Like, it's so easy to do. It can be very easy to chase after death and destruction. And I mean, I still find myself doing it sometimes, and I'm like, whoa, 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 what are you doing here? Like, oh, be careful, man. So, but yeah, just the pathway to life, man. Living life and living a life that's enjoyable. So the flow state interests me so deeply because the flow state offers this like idea or solution or practice or basis to then be immersed in what you're doing. One thing that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gets so much credit for is that when you're on the mat and you're rolling with somebody, you're not thinking about what happened at work. You're not thinking about the drive there. You're not thinking about that argument you had with your spouse. You are thinking of nothing but right here, right now, and this guy in front of you who's trying to kill you. but he's not going to kill you, but he's trying to kill you because it's jujitsu. It's like that, like flipping off all the BS, all the nonsense that the mind will just be preoccupied with, dusting off the leaves and having just this clear mind where the gaps between thoughts are wider and wider, and you're able to rest with a quiet mind and not be so, not be so. So the Buddha talks about this idea of a second arrow. Is if we are hurt, and let's say we're shot with an arrow, and this pain is the arrow in our knee, and that already sucks. But then you get shot with a second arrow in the same spot and it hurts. Well, in the analogy, the second arrow is you making your pain more painful than it needs to be. Okay? Suffering is an option. Pain is inevitable, but suffering, the second arrow, making your suffering worse than it needs to be, that's where some people can go wrong. That's chasing death and destruction. That's so learn to almost experience pain on this level of clarity that allows you to go through the pain and come out on the other side and still want to live life. And still to go, all this pain was worth it. All this pain I felt getting to where I'm at now, absolutely worth it. And live a life that makes it worth it.
That's a great transition into my next question, because I was going to ask you, what is it that you want to be remembered by when your legacy goes on? What do you want people to look back and say, wow, that Daniel Kessler guy, he was so great and he did this?
I think the only thing that I'd be willing to answer, I mean, honestly, like my first response, I'll tell you just my first response within. The first thing I thought of was, I don't want to be remembered. I want to be as obscure as possible. But like my ego is like the legacy. So I guess what I want is just to leave beauty. I want in the history books, hundred thousands of years from now, people just to look back and go, wow, Daniel really had a beautiful soul and he helped a lot of people, and he helped people figure things out, and he relieved a lot of suffering, and he was a good man. So if anything, I want that. But really, my first authentic, genuine response was, I don't want to be remembered. Why would I want to be remembered?
Yeah. Well then. No, yeah, I think it's something that is different for every person. Do you have a 5-year plan? What's going to be going on for you, and where would you like to see your flow coaching business go within the next 5 years?
Yeah, man. I'm looking at seminars, one-on-ones. I want to run events. I have this coupling idea of a seminar event, like self-help, but it's incorporated with the arts. So I have comedian friends, I have musician friends who I'm like, yo, man, come play the intro to my self-help seminar. We're going to do some speaking, and I might ask you some questions too about, the flow of your creation as a creative. And then we'll get into talking about some really deep topics in life and how we can all kind of grow and reach success or reach whatever we're after in life. And the best way to go about that, which I offer as the idea of the flow state, but, really the art and the beauty of self-development. We don't talk a lot about the art of self-development. It's always just like, oh, do the work, work hard, which is great. It's great to work hard. I mean, stretch yourself, push yourself, but you can't constantly be at a stretch. So learning when to stop stretching learning when to put on the brakes or hit the coast. And so, yeah, man, my vision for 5 years from now, there's so many things I could tell you of what I see coming in the future in my life, and then what I want to learn to give and give very effectively. Which is, I mean, I see myself as a young Tony Robbins, and I love Tony so much, but I'm never going to be Tony Robbins, right? I'm Daniel Kessler. I'm a young Daniel Kessler, but like aspiring to what kind of like what Tony does is, I mean, I love Tony Robbins so much, man. Oh man, sometimes it's hard to watch because it just hits me so deep. So that's like, because I'm so passionate and wrapped up in that idea of how can I have one conversation with a person, just one conversation, 20 minutes to an hour that changes their life, that sends them in the right direction. What is that conversation? How can I act in a way that gives them that effective breakthrough that they needed to have, that maybe they're just on the verge of, but they just had to meet me, and then they met me, and then boom, that just sent them in the right direction, and just really sent them in everyone's path is different. So I don't even know what's right. But my goal is to become that which those around just become.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I think that, seeing this vision of yours tonight has been awesome. I think it's a much different approach, than some coaches that we've had on the show before you. We've had a couple other coaches. I think there's so many different, perspectives when it comes to coaching. And what do you think are your next, I guess you could say, 2 big moves that you're going to be doing this year? Any projects coming up ahead? Things in the pipeline?
Yeah, so I'll be developing a series teaching what I've learned on the flow state and how to access more flow, and almost this idea that as you watch my videos, I'm able to sort of transmit this like energy that gets you there already. So like just by watching my video, you feel inspired, so learning to kind of create videos like that and offer that. And then, that can be a funnel as well, to working with the people who will be my students or my clients. And then learning to sort of offer that on a high level, step 1. Step 2 is I'm looking at this great opportunity to teach kids music. And I think music, one thing, I don't remember where I heard this from, but somebody said that it's almost like all art, all other art just tries to embody what music does. And music is almost this like overarching beauty and art that just kind of takes everything by storm. So to me, I want to understand music more. To me, music is the most flowy thing in the world. I'll throw on one of my favorite songs and I'm there. I'm feeling amazing. I feel great. Like the power that music has over the human soul will perplex me until the day I die.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's funny. We actually had it was Andrew and I. Andrew has his own podcast, Mr. Golden. And one of the whole episodes we did just a few weeks ago was actually on music and using music in a sort of conscious way and understanding which songs and which things you could do at which times, involving yourself within music to actually dictate certain parts of your life that you want to improve and enhance upon.
Dude, yeah, man, that's been kind of resting at the back of my mind, is this idea of using music to manifest reality, to create reality. And so I'll tell you right now, like as far as my wealth goals go, is it'd be awesome to have a dope crib, like a mansion that, and I'm pulling up a song real quick, a mansion that just sets me, sets me up to throw these wild parties. I can have all my friends over and I can just have cool events and stuff going on at my place. And I don't have this yet, but one song that puts me there or reminds me of my goal. It's like mapping your goal to a song and then the feeling is there, right?
Yep.
It's a Nipsey Hussle, and it's called The Mansion. Phenomenal song. Really a beautiful song. Nipsey Hussle, The Mansion, THA Mansion. And this song it's a rap song. So there's a lot of like some nasty things he says in there, but it's just a really beautifully produced song. And it just reminds me that, yeah, I'm gonna have a mansion one day. And it's a
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, no, we were speaking about how there's a lot of, I think, influence within hip hop music specifically that is very, very much like like you said, sort of like a mapping session, right? Like whether it's like positive influence through the lyrical, content that was, we were going through the different music types and just like, from binaural beats to, to lyrical stuff to, what frequency and what vibration and what music can actually have as an impact on an individual is truly astonishing. It's crazy. And we're brainstorming like how can we move these things around to to actually become certain key mapping points, whether it's a certain business or it's a certain personal goal or it's a certain routine that you have. How can you tie music into that to create a better structure overall?
So what are some of your favorite songs or artists or genres?
Oh, all across the board, really, I think that's the beauty of it, right? Is there's so much diversity. Just like you hit every note on the piano, you can hit every genre, every instrument, every, type, from folk to rap to hardcore to metal to punk to R&B, any genre. Like they all have interesting ways of expression. And I think expression is such an important element in the journey. But yeah, man. Hey, so I want to know if people want to get in touch or look more into your coaching, how should they contact you? We always like to kind of showcase and highlight that within the show. So how can people reach you?
Yeah, so you can email me or you can check out my Instagram. My personal email is flowcoachdaniel@gmail.com. And
Right
that's
there
my
on the screen for you guys.
business email. And then, yep, there's my social media. I'm on Instagram. And then on YouTube, look up Flow Coach Daniel. And that's where I'll be posting the video series that I'll be working on and understanding deeper the flow state, and then teaching that as I learn, and learning as I teach, and teaching as I learn, and learning and teaching are one. So,
absolutely. And so that's going to be launching off. When do you expect those videos to be going?
they'll probably reach their prime 8 months to a year from now.
Nice.
But in the process, I'll probably be putting things up within a week, starting things off within 6 to 8 weeks. Just sort of, I'm in the process right now where I'm getting more and more comfortable being myself out there and all the eyes looking at me. Just being like, oh, it's okay. I can be who I am, It's like
Absolutely. Just remain authentic. Now, did you were at the Growth Con? Did you get do you do any of the programs through Grant? Through anything that he offers there? I know he has a stages thing, an events thing, or something, things of resources. Do you partner anything there?
No, not yet. I was very heavily attempted to be convinced by some people. They wanted me to do the coaching or whatever it was, but it just didn't resonate with me on the level that I seek. And so really seeking that mission and purpose that I'm set out to make,
Yeah,
for me personally, was just, that ain't it. So I'm not going to do it. And
Yeah.
the 10X stages thing does interest me, but honestly, it just, it depends the level of interest I'm willing to give, which is then a weak point. Like, one of my weaknesses is if there's something I don't want to do, I'm likely not to do it. but there's a great lesson in that. There's a beautiful lesson in that. And it reminds me of this story where there was a meditation teacher and a student. And the meditation teacher had this plate. It was a plate of peas. And so the meditation teacher set it down and looked at the student. And then he knocked the plate over. And he told the student to pick up all the peas. So the student picked up all the peas and put it back, and the plate was back, and it was all perfect, and there were no peas on the ground. And so the meditation teacher knocked the plate over again and said, pick up all the peas. And this happened again and again. And the lesson to be learned there is it's not the activity that you're doing. It's how you feel while doing the activity. Now imagine you do your laundry in total bliss. How will that carry over into the other activities you have? It's sort of like Sisyphus pushing that boulder up with a big smile on his face, knowing that it's just going to fall down again.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think the most important thing when it comes to obviously moving into this version of yourself, because you're a newer coach, just discovering your style, your brand, it's going to be an interesting journey to follow. We're really excited to have kind of heard the vision of that tonight and had you walk us through it. I want to thank you so much for coming over and joining us. It's been a pleasure getting to know you these last couple of days. And I know that as we continue to move along the journey with not only Mi5 and our companies, but yourself as well, we'll have to invite you back. That's the biggest thing about what we love to do here with the Mi5 movement is we are creating community. And, we're highlighting and showcasing amazing individuals that we've found and we've networked with, whether it's an event or whether it is somebody that we've met through somebody else, because there are so many amazing individuals out there with great frequency, great vibration that we just sort of tend to attract into our circles. And, Daniel, it's truly been a pleasure, man. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And you can catch us Thursday night this week for the Mindset Mastery Call for Mi5. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So don't forget to tune in for that. And I do want to remind everybody that we have our new website up and launched, themi5movement.com. Definitely want to check that out. It's being updated pretty much daily, and we're going to have some exciting stuff out there as always. And you can follow us at the Mi5 Movement on Telegram as well. And, join the community and join the fun. There's the link down below. But Daniel, thanks again, man. Truly been a pleasure. I really want to, appreciate that. And Eric, come on in as we say goodnight to everybody here, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Take care. Good night.
Yep.